Bender Bunker, your one-stop shop for B-Bender related videos, and the next installment of what we call our Outlaw Licks series. This is Outlaw Licks Volume 2. Now, when we put Volume 1 out recently to get the party started, it was one of the most viewed and well-supported videos we've ever produced here in the Bender Bunker, so thanks to all that watched and supported that video. And that, of course, got me excited to keep the series going here with Volume 2. And it's the same backing track as before in the key of E. It's kind of got that early mid-70s-ish outlaw vibe, maybe something Waylon might have experimented with, hopefully. And well, as always, we are going to endeavor, as we so often do here in the bunker, to try and come up with some nasty Bender licks to put on top of it. And what you heard there, kind of a pedal steel, traditional pedal steel opening straight into some bendering. Is that a verb now? It is now bendering. Some bendering, and I'm going to play it in isolation so you can hear it again, decide if you want to invest the time and effort. I understand, it's a busy day. And it sounds like this. I'll give you a little secret on that one. You know, we get going on that lesson. When we go up here, that's really the bulk of it. When I go back down and do the second half at the bottom end of the neck, it's really just lower octave playing of what I've already done. So it's one of my favorite tricks, to use octave to my advantage, make it sound like I'm doing twice as much heavy lifting as I'm really doing. All right, if that sounds good to you, you know the drill by now. Go grab that bender. Let's get right on it. Well, all right, appears you're in an outlaw mood today. Thank you for joining me for Volume 2. We're going to get right into it because, like a good Uber driver, my goal is to have minimal talking and get you to your destination as quickly as possible, you know, in hopes of that 5-star rating. All right, let's get rolling. As you heard in the opening, we kind of go with more of a pedal steel lead in. No bendering as of yet, and that's what we're going to start with. And that sequence involves 4 distinct picks. The rest are fingers rolling into the notes, all right? So let's start here on the 4th string, your D string on the 8th fret with your middle finger. And that's the first of your 4 picks, all right? So you pick that, and then you roll up with your ring finger 1 up to the 9th on the same string. Then that allows your index finger to position nicely on your 3rd string, your G string on the 6th. That's going to be your second of the 4 picks. You pick that, and then you're going to roll with your middle and ring to the 8-9 on the G string. So it's 6, 8, 9. So here's what we've got. Okay, so now we're sitting there on the 9th fret with our ring finger on the G string. That's ringing. That allows our index finger to cover the top 2 on the 7th fret, which is what we want. We're now making the top 3 strings by the way of what we call the twang box around here for E. So that works out nicely. So here we are ringing. We've got the top 2 covered now by our index finger. Let's go ahead and hit the B string 7th and then come back to the G string 9th, still covered by our ring finger. So those are your 4 picks, and that actually completes the whole opening sequence. 1 pick, 2 pick, 3 picks. That's going to be your B string 7th. And then coming back to your G string 9th. Take a minute, get that fluid. Okay, so what you're hearing there is your B string and your G string ringing out sympathetically together for the key of E. We like that. But when I get back to that very last note of the sequence, which was of course the G string 9th, that's also my mental cue to engage my bender, because I'm going to need it pre-engaged. So watch that now as I do the sequence. And you heard it, and that's okay. We want to hear it. All right, so now I've got it engaged. What I'm going to do with my index finger still covering the top 2 on the 7th, I'm going to hit the high E 7th, then hit the B string to let the bender down. And then come back to that G string on the 9th, still covered by my ring finger. So slow, here you go. And the bender part is kind of an abrupt, you know, you're kind of making it obvious there when you do it up to speed. Now we've got the E twang box there, those top 3 notes ringing nice for the key of E, and we've got the index finger, of course, covering the top 2 on the 7th, which is good, because what we're going to do for this next part is We're just going to slide it up, still on the top 2 strings, slide it up to the 12th, and by the time we get there, we need the bender pre-engaged. We're going to start with the high E, go to the B, let the bender down, and then drop our middle finger on the G string 13th. And of course, you can kind of hear me going up. That's on purpose. I like to get that slinky kind of sound. Top 2 with my index, I want to hear it sliding up to the target of the 12th. I'm also pre-engaging the bender, so you get a little bit of noise of the note going up on the B string. That all sounds good to me. And of course, what you're doing up there is you're making the top 3 notes of your E bar chord. So that works out. All right, so work on that for a second. We've got these top 3 now ringing. We're going to go way uptown now. We're going up to the 19th fret. So we're going up here with our middle finger on the B string 19th, and then we're dropping our ring finger on the high E 19th. So we've got those top 2 on the 19th covered now. When we do that, we start with the B string 19th. We pick and take the bender up. Keep the bender fully engaged. Go up to your high E that's already covered. Hit that twice. And then come back to the 19th B string to let the bender down. And then the bender's unengaged. Now we're going to drop down with our index finger on the B string 17th to complete that and just hit that note. All right, so all together. And I am kind of staccato when I'm up here with my picking. All right, so we just learned that. We're going to drop just down ever so slightly and make what I call a 7th shape. I'm sure it is a 7th shape for E, which is a 3-noter. Kind of looks like a pyramid from your point of view, I imagine. That's going to be your index finger on the B string 15th, then your ring finger on the high E 16th, and your middle finger on the G string 16th. So it's 16, 15, 16. You can kind of call that the red house chord. Right? Okay, so there we are. When we get there, we're going to start like we did up on the 19th with our B string by hitting it and taking the bender up. All right, leave that where it is, leave the bender where it is. Go ahead and hit the high E 16th. Come back to the B string to let the bender down. And then finish on your G string 16th to complete that shape. That's what it's supposed to sound like. All right, so all together. So now that's ringing nicely together. We're going to go and do a little quick chicken picking. All right, and what that is your G string and your high E working together. I'm coming into the G string on the 13th with my middle finger, and then I'm letting my index finger go up to the high E on the 12th. Right? I'm starting with the G string, I'm noting that first there on the 13th, then I'm popping up to the high E 12th, that's a 1-2, and then I'm dead noting for a triplet. So if you're going to hear it, you're going to hear the G string on the 13th, you're going to hear the high E on the 12th, and then you're going to hear a dead note for that triplet run. Ba-da-bum, right? And then what I'm doing is I'm popping down just 2 on the high E with my index finger to the 10th and hitting that note to complete that chicken picking sequence. Okay, so once you do that, you've got your index finger down there on the 10th. We're going to go back to where we kind of started, which is our top 2 on the high E on the 7th fret with your index finger. When you get there, I need the bender pre-engaged, so get that nice and fully engaged before you do anything. So again, you just did your chicken picking, your index finger's right there on the 10th. Go ahead and drop it down to the 7th, cover the top 2, get your bender engaged. And you're going to start with your high E, then you go to your B string to let the bender down. And then go to your G string 9th with your ring finger. All right, bender's down now. What I'm doing, I've got the top, I've got the top 2 on the 7th, and then my ring finger on the G string 9th. Those 3 strings are covered now. I just let the bender down. I'm going to go ahead and down pick the top 3 and take the bender back up. Comes back down, and that is the first part of this. That's what I'm calling, that's the bulk of it, because it's working up here and everything we did all the way up to the 19th fret back down to the 7th. That's the bulk of it. And what we're going to go do down in the second half is kind of a repetition of what we've already learned, just in the lower octave, and we're coming up with that next. All right, let's keep the party rolling, and I've got some good news for you. You pretty much know everything I'm about to show you. I'm just going to transpose it down an octave. So this is going to go quick. Strap in. We are going to start the second half exactly how we started the whole lesson, with the riff you already know. So you do that again. Now what we did before is we popped up here to the top 2 on the 12th and the G string on the 13th for this. Well, what would be an octave lower of that? That would be open strings. 12th would be open, and then the 13th would be the 1st fret down here. So that's going to sound like this. So. So after you do your opening riff, bender went up, bender came down. I'm dropping my hand down because I know I got to do the 1st fret down here eventually on the G string. I'm also pre-engaging the bender, and then I start with the high E, B string open as well, letting the bender down, and then the G string 1st fret. I've also noticed that when I get to that open string part I just showed you, my hand tends to drift back towards the bridge pickup to get that real twangy, bitey pick attack. But you, as always, salt and pepper to taste. So here's what we know. Now before, on the octave up here, we were going all the way to the 19th for this, right? Well, down here, that's going to be on the 7th fret. So we just finished this. What I'm going to do now is take my middle finger on the B string, slide it up to the target of the 7th. But as I do it, I'm picking and I'm sliding and I'm engaging the bender so it's fully engaged by the time I get there. Sounds like this. Right? And then when I get there, bender's fully engaged. Same riff we learned up on the 19th. We're down here on the 7th now. So I've got my ring finger on the high E 7th. Hit that twice. Come back to the 7th on the B, letting the bender down. And then I drop down B string 5th fret with my index finger to finish that riff. Now, when we learned up here on the 19th, I was very staccato with it, very deliberate. What I'm finding is when I get down here on the 7th, I tend to get a little bit more loose with it. That sounds like this. So instead of going... changing my pick attack slightly. Alright, and then what did we do up here? Well, we went up here to the E7 shape, that pyramid shape. So let's do that an octave lower, so that means your index finger, 2nd string, 3rd fret. And then you're going to be playing with your ring finger 4th fret high E and the 4th fret on your G string with your middle. So we just came off of this. Index finger now drifts down to the 3rd fret on the B. When we get there, we go ahead and pick it and take the bender up, exactly what we did the octave up here we already learned. And then the high E 4th with your ring. Come back to the B string, already still held, let the bender down. And then finish with your middle finger, 3rd string, 4th fret. And then we go back and do what we've already learned, the chicken picking part all the way back up on the 12th fret area. That's how we ended it before. Do the exact same thing you already know. And then what I've been doing in the opening and what you saw me just do now when I came for this part is this. So let's go over that real quick. Coming out of the chicken picking part. So we take it all the way fully up with those top three ringing. Bring it back down and take it back up again. When you get back up again, sneak your little finger to the high E on the 9th fret. Let it up so you can do high E7, still held. And just B string down, and then G string 9th. Those three are that pattern you're already holding. Whoa, what did we just do? We just learned Outlaw Licks Volume 2. That's what we just did. We put it all together. Upper octave, lower octave, all one lick now. This would be a good time, if you enjoyed any part of this, to go ahead and hit the like button. If you think you might have a buddy who'd like to see this, there's a share button somewhere around there. And this is your first time to the Bender Bunker. Well, first of all, welcome. You found all kinds of bending waiting for you here, and this would be a good time to think about subscribing. That way you can keep abreast, an arm, a thigh, whatever you want, of what we're doing here in the bunker. There's a subscribe button in the lower corner that YouTube now lets me put there. It's one-stop subscribing, so there you go. And other than that, I'm going to get on out of here. And if you're new to us, you may not know the motto. If you've been around, of course, you do know the motto. So let's go out with the motto. It is never too late to go on a bender. Certainly hope you do. I'll fire up the backing track, play the riff all the way through, and we'll call it a day. Don't know about Outlaw Licks Volume 3. We'll see. But I certainly enjoyed bringing Volume 2 to you, and I appreciate all the support. Until next time, keep it bent for me.